So you hate that chatter? Yes, I hate you, chatter.
I'd like to start by thanking the 58 million Brazilians who voted for me on October 30th last. The actors and popular movements are a result of what they consider the electoral process was. The peaceful manifestations will always be welcome,
I'll be back.
but our methods must not be those of the left, who have always harmed the population, like invading private property, destroying patrimony, and not letting people come and go. Our robust representation in Congress shows the strength of our values: God, nation, family, and freedom. We have built different leaderships throughout the country. Our dreams are more lively than ever. We defend order and progress. Even when facing or fighting the whole system, we have overcome a pandemic and the consequences of a war. I have always labeled as anti-democratic, and as opposed to those who accuse me, I have always acted according to the Constitution. I have never spoken against the media and social media. As the President of the Republic and a citizen, I will always comply with all that is written in our Constitution. It is an honor to be the leader of millions of Brazilians who, like myself, defend economic freedom, religious freedom, freedom of opinion, honesty, and the colors, green and yellow, of our flag. Thank you very much.
Okay, we were just listening there to President Jair Bolsonaro breaking his silence for the first time since the election on Sunday delivered defeat to him and victory.
I can't believe
former president.
His entire speech was just as long as my piss break.
A message of thanks.
That's
to his
fucking
supporters,
insane.
And a message of, well, it sounded like reassurance that he was going to comply with the rules of the election.
Did he even concede? I pissed and I lost it.
Accept the results. Perhaps we can cross to Rio and speak to our correspondent there, Jan Anosco. And just, Jan, I don't know if you were listening in to what Bolsonaro said. Okay, we haven't got our correspondent. I thought we would. But in any case, there we are. Jair Bolsonaro breaking his silence after quite some time. We had been waiting to hear from him. And there we heard him thanking those who voted for him. And of course, the margin was extremely thin, just a difference of 1.8% between Bolsonaro and Lula da Silva. So a very narrow, very closely fought election there. The government in South Korea is coming under growing public criticism following on from Saturday night's Halloween.
Wait, what the fuck? They just moved on from that, too. Commies bad. I did good. God is good. Screw those people who didn't vote for me. Bye. He said, don't be violent to private property like the left. Then said, I will follow the Constitution and peaced out. Okay, well, that's a concession. That's a bit of a concession. I mean, maybe you should move on to... Wait, what? That's a new one. When people are like, you're covering this topic too much. That's pretty funny when you got well, like you know, one of the world's largest economies and you have like a fascist ex-president refusing to fucking concede the election and someone's like, "Bro, can we just move on to my small town?"
Well, as you said, it was a very, very long wait and a very brief statement, but he used the statement to project himself as a leader of the conservative right in Brazil, a conservative right that had lost its voice since the dictatorship ended in 1985. And Bolsonaro, during his 4 years in term, was spoke out for them. He spoke in favor of family values. He defended the agro-industrial industry, which had been attacked by the environmentalists. So he's saying that this should continue, that these people had their voices heard and they should continue to do so. So he's projecting himself as a leader of this whole group. He doesn't have a party, a strong political party. He didn't have a party for a time and just jumped on one party to get elected for the election. So, but he does count with many, many supporters that defend the same values he has been saying. He also says that this should not be, he's sort of attacked President-elect Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva by saying that this is not this is a Brazil that wants the private property, doesn't want land invasions, and it will not be a socialist country in his view. So he just left his mark, but didn't say much congratulating his opponent. He wasn't very, let's say, elegant in his statement.
Does this actually amount to a concession? I mean, he did say that he would, quote, follow the Constitution, but how do you interpret this?
Yes, I interpret this as being conceding but not making it obvious. This midway term that he was looking for words, I think he was maybe perhaps even waiting this long to have these truck drivers protest to show that the fact that he was defeated did not mean that that he does not exist anymore. We must remember also that although Lula had a significant amount of votes, so did Bolsonaro. For somebody that was came in second, he had almost half of the votes of the Brazilian population. So this is going, and the Congress that was elected is conservative as well, more conservative than the previous one. So President-elect Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva will really have an uphill battle to get his proposals approved. He will also not be able to just do what he wants, because he also had to have a broad coalition, a coalition that includes former opponents, and includes center-right politicians like his vice president, to defeat Bolsonaro. But this may be a good thing because he's trying to show unity. So we'll see from there. Now the transition may be a difficult one if Bolsonaro, the people that are working for him now, they have 3 months to talk to the people that are working for Lula, for the future government, to have a transition dialogue and show what has been done, you know, where the files are, that sort of a situation. They can make things difficult or not, but some of them are already negotiating. So finally, I mean, the fact that he spoke is already, it means something. It was a very, very long wait for this very brief statement.
And Monica, I mean, Bolsonaro has at least suggested that he's prepared to accept a political transition. Do you think that that will now filter down to his supporters? Are we going to see a complete end to these demonstrations, these blockages of highways up and down the country?
Yes, the blockages will end, not only because Bolsonaro has already spoken, but also because the Supreme Court Justice has issued an injunction, and the roadblocks must be cleared. Also, it does Bolsonaro no favor at all if they continue, because Brazilians are getting very upset. There are people that are missing work, people that had their flights canceled, people that couldn't get on buses, supermarkets that are starting to run out of food if the truck drivers continue blockading the streets. Also, there are fines that will be imposed if this situation continues. So it's something that it really does not represent the country. I mean, maybe almost half of the population may have voted for Bolsonaro, but that does not mean that they really look favorably on this kind of a reaction. We've heard from many voters of Bolsonaro who are saying, you know, this is, okay, it's over, we don't agree with Lula, but, you know, this is not democratic to stop, to block all the roads across Brazil, a country that depends on these roads. This is just not the way things should be done. So I think the protests will stop because nobody will support them.
Yeah, whenever, look, just get used to it, okay, chat? Not that this is right, obviously, in any way, but anytime you have like a fascist fucking government, or anytime you have like a hyper right-wing government, which, by the way, speaking of fascist and hyper right-wing governments, Israel, anytime you have that shit, they are going to their followers are just going to get more and more agitated and increasingly more violent. Okay, that's it. And this time around, they're failing. They're too late to the game. Bolsonaro was too late to like have genuinely impactful voter suppression. He won't make that mistake next time, if there is a next time, with Bolsonaro or whoever the fuck is running on a Bolsonaro-style campaign. They will start actively doing voter suppression early on, like they do in the freest country on the planet, the United States of America, of course. Okay. If they were doing voter suppression early on, instead of like using the police in this haphazard last second, like I'm trying my best over here type way, he could have maybe suppressed the votes of, you know, tens of millions of Brazilians. But he didn't. He fucked up. One of Lula's first things should make it significantly harder to do voter suppression. Yeah. So let's